Hello everyone, it's Tuesday, the Tuesday before Christmas, the day before, 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 the night before Christmas, or something like that. And for me, I found that I was thinking last night how I don't feel that Christmas spirit like I used to, although I love Christmas, I do. But I don't feel it as much this year for some reason, and I thought, what is that? Am I burnt out? Have I stopped believing in it? I still believe in Christmas. I do believe in, I love Jesus and I love the whole story. I love the Jesus, the Virgin Child in every, or Virgin Mary and the, you know, the miracle child in every religion, every, yeah. And I love that story and it aligns with the winter solstice. But I don't always love how it's so commercialized and obviously and crammed down our throats, and you have to watch all these movies and you have to do this and you have to do that, and then you're broke, and I haven't been able to do any of that this year. But what I've thought about last night was how much I just love the Yuletide, the earthy, the probably paganistic, the origins of Christmas, which would be the fir trees and the snow and the stars in the sky and the Yule log, the fire, the sparkling lights and the embers and the sparks and the smell of it, the berries and that stillness and that peace. I love that. That's what I love the most about Christmas. And those are things that are so tied to eternity and earth and what's inside of, I don't know, nature, organic. I love it. That's what I love. And I love the old tradition that that someone 100 or 200 years ago did. That's what I love. Although I still have, this thing about like being a kid and going to Kmart and all that sort of retail Christmas in the malls. And I love that. There's a really big place in my heart for that type of stuff. But the magic of Christmas has shifted for me now from all the stuff, it's in the movies. And it's now more just the beauty and the simplicity of Yuletide. So I don't know. That's just what I feel. So anyway, I'm way behind on topics. Way behind. But I wanted to go into, and I was going to go on camera. And yes, I filmed myself. And then, as usual, I was like, ugh. Look at that hideous monster. I've done that a lot. I film myself and then I delete it. That's why I do collabs, because you'll never see me without a collab. I just don't go on camera. I just can't stand it. Okay, anyway, I'm way behind, but I have a lot of hits, so I want to get into that. So first I want to say this. 45's going out and he's saying all this rhetoric, and it's like the real Frump, and I'll just call him Frump. I don't say it to be derogatory to him. I say it because I don't want to say his name, and 45 is just kind of like overused, and it just feels it feels right to say Frump. And I think that's more like me, like, I'm so sick of this guy, so sick of this guy wearing us out, wearing us down. Frump sounds right for that type of euphemism, So I'm gonna call him Frump, and I don't mean it derogatory, okay? He comes out now and he's just, the real Frump is stepping forward. Even Melania said it. Wasn't it Melania? Or was it Ivana? He reads. He had Hitler next to the bed. People don't just have, Mein Kampf next to their bed and read quotes. No. It was required reading in school. I know that in my area because I worked at the library for a while, and every kid around certain time of the year would come in and I have to read this book, and I'd always cringe and think, why is the school forcing them to read this, little kids, to read this book written by Hitler? I don't get it. I don't think it's good, because it's like that same theory, mentality of when they show a criminal on TV and then it zooms in and you're like, why are they making me look at a criminal? Why am I staring into the eyes of a criminal? This is wrong. This feels wrong. That's that same feeling of, why would you want kids to be exposed to a fucking mass murder, excuse my French, mass murderer, genocidist, racist, horrible sociopath, murderer? Why? Why do you want kids to read this guy's and get in this guy's brain? I don't understand it. oh, because we can break him down and teach kids what not to be. I actually think that it does more harm than good. And we see how fragile the human brain and psyche is, considering the fact that almost half of our society is in a cult, like a Charles Manson cult, with Frump. So, when he reads it, it's just harmless for him to read Hitler's writings. Not so harmless. And now he's out and out saying phrases that nobody says ever. Nobody just says poisoning the blood of America. Nobody says that casually. I've never said it. Have you? No. These are not casual phrases or words. These are targeted words. This is propaganda. This is meant to get in those little fragile brains that he's already hypnotized and brainwashed and gaslit. And he knows he's getting in those little cracks that he opened up. And he's not hiding it anymore. He's like, oh, what the fuck should I hide? I ain't got nothing else to lose. I did everything else. I tried to play the nice guy. It didn't work. So now I'm going to be the bad guy, and they love it. And I finally get to be who I am. Also, it's getting me the attention. Like bullies. You stop being a bully. Okay. Gee whiz, golly gee, Eddie from Leave It to Beaver. Okay, I'll be good. No, bullies don't change because you ask them to politely. You know how bullies change? Well, first of all, never, unless you have extreme structure like military training and or what have you, discipline. That's how bullies change, discipline and detraction, deterrence from their behavior. But the problem with bullies is when you don't have deterrence and consequences and hard training, they just stay the bully. They lie in your face and they still bully. Why? Because it gets them what they want. Attention, power, right? Lording over others. So 45 in his little egotistical, hellish brain is now saying, wow, I'm getting a lot more of what I want. I'm getting straight to the point. I'm drinking the tea straight, no cream, no sugar, thank you. I'm getting what I want. I don't have to play the game anymore. And I'm not even getting arrested or having to go to jail for, violating gag orders and all. The worst thing is, like, if they fine him, I think that's why lately he hasn't violated the gag order, because he doesn't want to be fined. And I think he knows he would be fined hefty. But I think for a while there, he really wanted to be thrown in jail so that he could be a martyr and made a hero. Okay, so yeah, he's coming out and they're saying the day one dictator. Now here's the hit that I got on this. He's not going to win, but he thinks this is his last chance gamble. He thinks he can get into office again. And that day one, what he's going to do is fire Jack Smith, fire Engoron, fire anyone who he didn't like, who messed with him, tried to prosecute him. Ooh, narcissistic hit. That's what it is. He's going to get back. He's going to fire them, get rid of them. And then blah, 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 everything else, XYZ after that. The first thing he's going to do is get rid of these people of law who tried to hold him accountable. That's what the day one dictator really is. And then he's going to crack down on social media for liberals, Democrats, free speech, all that. He's going to crack down. Okay, so that's that. He's not going to be put in office again. He's not going to win. Okay, so he's pushing off. He's playing the push off until I get elected thing. So don't pay any fines. Don't pay E.G. and Carol her fine. Repeal or appeal. Appeal, deny this case, delay this case, yes. What's the lady that he has down in Florida? That lady, can't remember her name. Special counsel lady, he put her there. It was all rigged. And for entertainment purpose only. And delay. Don't pay anything. Don't admit any guilt. Appeal, delay until I get back in office, and then bam, I'm going to get rid of all of it. That's what Rudy Giuliani's doing too. He's not going, oh, you're right, I was wrong. He had a chance to go in the courtroom and prove his innocence. He couldn't, so he didn't. So what he's chosen to do is come out and use the propaganda, social media, TV stations, interviews, and say, I'm innocent and she's lying. Because you're going to delay, play it out until the end, play it out until 45 gets elected, and then bam, win. Then they want to put Ruby Freeman and her daughter in jail, and you know, they're going to put Fani Willis in jail. They're going to put, but he's not going to win. But these are his plans, and that's why Giuliani is just playing the game. Giuliani knows he's guilty. You know, he doctored the tapes. In some way, he's doing the thing where he's already denied it so much that now he's living the lie, and it hurts to feel and hear the truth. Can't admit the truth, but he had to admit it in the courtroom, and he didn't have the evidence to show he's innocent. So he does know the truth, but like 45, he lives to lie. He lies to live. He lies so much that he feels it's the truth. That's how they survive. Okay, so the missing Russian folders, whatever, intel that Mark Meadows was seen with. Now, I got that hit. Remember, 45 patting his chest close to the heart. That doesn't mean it's on him in his suit jacket. But what I was getting earlier was that it's, and I heard someone say they thought it was at Mar-a-Lago, and I have to agree. Now here's the thing. I get that it's with Melania or Barron. So she travels around. She could have already taken it somewhere, but I think it's with her. It's with her, and she knows. And it could be, because I got something about mother. Mother knows. And so it could be, and wife, it could be in Ivana's grave. Now remember, I don't think there's even a casket. They returned that casket. They moved some papers. Those documents, those papers went to the golf tournament with the Saudis, the 9/11 guys. And I don't think there's even anything in that plot at Bedminster. It's just a pile of dirt. They returned that fake gold casket. Documents went with the Saudis at the golf tournament. Ivanka has the ashes on her mantle. I've always seen that. So there's really nothing in that grave. Now there could be, though. There could be. Why not? Why not dig it up? Why not? What are you gonna lose? Make it maybe some pride. Yeah, you could lose some pride. I just saw an Orby. Why not try it? I guess you have to have a reasonable cause. I'd say the missing Russian documents, and he's like suspect number one, right? Him and Mark Meadows. I'd say that's a reasonable cause to go digging and searching, right? Now, you know that if we have missing Russian intel, that's not just a nothing. That's something that they have to investigate. There's something to be worried about. I get that Jack Smith already knows what they are. And like I said, they're the Mueller report findings. 45 does not want us to ever find out that he was a fakely elected president. For entertainment purpose only. I remember I asked Spirit, remember? It was before the 2020, thing. And can't say certain words, really. And I asked Spirit, I said, how do you see Frump? I know how I feel about him, but how do you see him, Spirit? And they gave me this direct quote from Frederick Douglass, so I know Frederick Douglass stepped in. They said he was a usurper, criminal president. And I was like, well, that's what I get to. That's exactly what I get to. So I've never had any doubt from them, but then, yeah, you just see his actions. He does what criminals do. The pattern's there, avoiding trial, don't give evidence, deny, lie. We see him do it right in front of us, and then, oh, you didn't see that. It didn't happen. Fake news. The guy's a criminal. He does everything in courtrooms that a criminal would do to avoid prosecution. He's doing all that. He's not doing what innocent people do. Innocent people just go and present evidence and testimony and get off. And if they're found guilty and is wrong, then, they get exonerated later. But 45 does everything that criminals do. Everything that criminals do to get out of trouble and avoid being sent to jail. He doesn't do what innocent people do. He doesn't do any of the innocent people patterns or procedures. No. He does what criminals do. He does what mobsters do. Okay, documents. Here's the thing. I know some people say, and I could be totally wrong. I always say I could be totally wrong, and if I am, I will admit it. Happily, because it humbles me to admit when I'm wrong. But I do think that they're at Mar-a-Lago, and why would I was going to say, some other people are saying that he sold them to Russia. But here's the thing. Why would they do that? They know what's in those documents. They don't need to pay for it. It's like saying, I made a hamburger. I'm going to pay you for my hamburger. Well, you made it yourself. You don't need to pay anybody. Putin knows what's in those documents. He knows. He doesn't have to pay. They're not going to pay a whole bunch of money for something they already know. They may hold it for us. But yeah, so I don't think that they've been sold to Russia. They're still with 45. It's the emotional thing. It's the ego thing. It's the narcissistic thing. He can't admit that he was unduly, falsely elected. So he's holding that. He doesn't want us ever to know. It would ruin his whole stack of cards. That's the one thing holding up the whole stack of cards, and he'll never let us have it. It really is, and I've said this for 2 years now, the Wicked Witch thing with the Wizard of Oz. That's the water on the witch. That's what's going to get him, is that proof that he was helped by Russia. Now, the MAGA people would be like, fake news, because they've been trained to, they think shit smells like roses. So they're going to hear it and they'll go, well, I don't believe that. Fake news, fake news. We can't do anything about that. However, in the legal system and with 45, we can do something about that. It's evidence. Collusion. That's what it's about. It could be anything else. You could find out about, like, the whole thing with the war thing where he gave intel about the war and all of that. And he just brushed it off. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. This is what hurts. The ego, the narcissistic pain, that's going to hurt. He cannot allow it. But it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And Jack Smith already knows, and I bet you Meadows already told him. And we all know, because it's like Stephanie Miller said the other day, I think it was yesterday morning. She was like, if it exonerated 45, this Russian intelligence, we would have heard all about it already, like years ago, right? But if he's hiding it, if it's hidden, you know that it's bad. You know that it makes him guilty, that it's about the collusion. You know this, right? 1 and 1 make 2. We know this. So again, I do feel it's a Mar-a-Lago. I see him patting his chest, close to the chest, close to the heart. It really means a lot, and this is the thing that means the most to him. We must never know this. Ooh, the pain that he would feel if we knew this. The shame, the pain, the embarrassment, the loss of his ego. And I feel it's with Melania or like in Barron's underwear drawer or something like that. They probably travel with it. It's probably in suitcases, right? But it could be, you could check the grave, Ivana's grave, which there's nothing there, but you could check. Why not? Okay, moving on. And I've always said that I thought Trump Towers would be searched. But you know what? They said they did. It wasn't publicized. Go look it up. They did search. I've read that. Maybe I'm imagining it, but I'm pretty sure I read that and I was like, oh, well, they did do it. Okay. But some people are saying they think they'll search Mar-a-Lago again, and I can see that happening. And why wouldn't they? Honestly, why wouldn't they? Okay, next thing. Covered all that. Alina Habba. I wanted to talk about her because, first of all, she did this nasty thing where there's somebody in the Trump organization was sexually harassed. And they tried to make a complaint, and they were going to get a lawyer and all this, and they made him sign. And Alina aligned herself with this person, and was like, "Oh, I'll help you. I'll be your legal counsel," and sort of groomed her, and then made her sign the agreement. I believe that's what happened. And then the girl couldn't talk about it, and so Alina like tricked her. She went in as a rogue, fake cover, a fake friend, a fake counsel. Took all her information and then blocked it and made her sign this legal non-disclosure agreement. It's like such horrible, like the most disgusting behavior. And so somebody today was saying it was on Threads this morning about how Alina and 45 Trump are together all the time, and why doesn't he go out with Melania anymore? And they were like, this looks weird. Are they like having sex? And I was like, no. I don't see the sex thing. What it is they're like a codependent, egotistical, bloviated partnership where Alina gets money, she gets all these jet rides, and she gets to be his his cute little lawyer and be on TV, and she gets money, jet, free lodging, food, fancy, all that stuff. Lots of cocaine for entertainment purposes only. And he tells her she's beautiful and she's hot and all this stuff, and she's so powerful and smart. And then she, in turn, says, you're the greatest, you're the president, you'll always be the president, and you're innocent. And even though she knows he's not, because she's seen the evidence. But she's telling him all this stuff because she's getting fed. It's like the sucker on the shark. She's eating off all the scum off him and keeping him shiny. And so she's getting fat and happy, and then he's clean and looks good. It's a, what do you call it? A tit for tat type of relationship where they're helping each other out in the same egotistical power play. She's kind of like his propaganda whore, and she does a good job. I mean, she lies. She's going to get in trouble. She's going to have defamation lawsuits against her too. She's ridiculous. She hasn't won any lawsuits for him. But, again, they're both feeding each other, and it's working right now. They're going to go down that cliff together, the Titanic together. But that's why they almost are at, like I said, codependent. That word kept coming up, and I was like, why that word? I get it now. They almost can't live without each other. 45 can't live without her building him up, building up his ego, telling him he's great, and she's going to protect, and she's going to fight for him, and she's going to be a bitch for him. And she can't live without the money and the blow and, the jet rides and all that, and the gold crusted toilets and all that. She can't live without that. And the hair and the Botox, she can't live without that. It's kind of like Hugh Hefner and the bunnies, she can't live without it now. But they're not having sex. No, I doubt it. I really doubt it. Now, the Jeffrey Epstein thing, they're going to release names, a list. Now, you don't need a list to know that 45 was with Epstein and was at his parties. We have the video, we've seen it, we know it. And he'll be, of course I was going to use it, but right around the last few years I wasn't with him anymore. So I wasn't with him when he did the bad stuff. Yeah, he was. And we've seen the accounts of where 45 Frump raped, for entertainment purposes only, underage. And she has accounts of it. There's written testimony. Yes. And 45 is part of it. He's on the list. But, it could be that Bill Clinton's on the list too. But I'll say in Bill Clinton's defense, I do feel like he was he changed. And he went to therapy, he had a sex addiction, and he changed. But, and Prince Andrew, other people, who's that one lawyer, all those people, they're on there. So there may be some names that we don't want to hear, but 45, let me say this, if 45's not on there, then there's funny business, because like Bill Barr might have done something, because there's video of 45 with Epstein at these parties looking like a cat in a hen house or fox in a hen house. So it would be ridiculous. My brain melts right now thinking about how if they don't have him on the list, that's got to be Bill Barr. More of that Mueller report crap. Okay, so anything else? Anything else? It's crazy, crazy times right now. Again, Trump's not going to win. He is riding it out to the end. He's playing it out. It's a gamble. It's a gamble. And now that he's the worst saying and doing the worst things possible, I expect more of that. That's fizzles out though. But at least he's now admitting it, right? At least we know who we're dealing with. So, are you with the dictator? Are you with Hitler? Are you with Charles Manson? Okay, you admit it. If you're MAGA and you say that he's Jesus and he's signed your Bible, but he's like quoting Hitler, then at least admit that that's who you're for, is Hitler, Frump, and you're not on the good side anymore. Okay, let's just admit it. We've finally gotten to the truth. Let's just admit it. Okay, so the last thing, I know what I wanted to say, the last thing. This whole thing with abortion. So the Midas Touch put out this little short about the abortion issue, like, you know, from Texas, where her baby died. I believe that she had to leave the state, but I believe the baby died already. But now she can't go back. I feel like she may go back and face prison, but then she'll be a martyr for it, like a Joan of Arc type of figure to help women. She might sacrifice herself for the cause, because really she's in a state of deep depression, and who gives an F anymore, and I might as well do this to help women and society in general. Who cares about me anymore? She's at that low point. So she's going to be a martyr. And yes, Abbott will have her arrested, but I think it could be appealed by this Supreme Court or like a higher court. Okay, so Midas Touch showed this video, and it was a woman who's pregnant, like probably 9 months pregnant or something, and she's at a party, and people are like, oh, you're glowing, and oh, baby, I love babies, and aren't you happy? Isn't this exciting? And blah, 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 blah. And then she turns to the camera, and she's very sad, and she's holding her abdomen, and she's like, my baby's dead. And you may say, wow, that's dramatic. You know, that's dramatic. Well, that's what's happened, and it's not a good feeling. And, you know, all these people who say, you should at least have it so you could hold it while it gives its last few breaths. Yeah, you do that. If that's such an easy thing to do, you do that. You try it. I don't know if I could do that. I mean, have you ever had to have a pet put down? That's friggin' hard. Imagine having your baby die in your arms. That's not easy. That is not, some people can't do that. Hell, I don't even like phone calls. I'm not strong enough to take phone calls. I don't think that, you know, any of us are strong enough. Some people are strong enough, but most of us would not want to go through that, to watch our baby die or have a dead baby put in our arms. After we just went through, have you ever been through labor? It hurts. Yeah, so people who think that women can do this, it's easy. Yeah, how about this? So I want to go on this rant about, and I've probably already said this, but I'll say it again because of the video. Here's the thing. Say it again. Pregnancy is not a beautiful, it is a miracle. It is beautiful, but it's not always a beautiful, miraculous event. Many times it is a death sentence for women. Many times the child dies in utero. Many times that mother has children at home, or pets, or family who love her, friends, a community. Or maybe all she has is herself. Maybe she was raped. Maybe she made a bad choice. Or maybe she really wanted that baby. It's dead, or it's sick. It's not going to make it. She's alone. Maybe the one reason this woman is here on earth, her one mission on earth, is to love and value herself, because she was never taught how to love and value herself. And learning how to let go of this child with a compassionate, thoughtful choice, right to choose, free will choice, is the reason she's put on earth, and to teach other women how to love and value their own lives. Because a lot of women in the world are not taught this. A lot of women are not taught to love and value their own life. They're told to quit college, to not go on that trip, get married, let him take care of you. It'll all be okay. Someday your life will have meaning. Well, how about we teach women? How about we teach women to love and value their life right now? And I can't imagine a more conscience affirming choice that values the sanctity of life than for a woman to be given the right to choose to bring life into the world, to carry the baby, to give birth, and to parent. Those are hard choices. They are choices. And if you take away the choice, the ability to choose, you actually take away the sanctity of life. You say, oh, life can just happen on its own. Life can be, and the woman can die, who cares? No, there's a direct correlation between valuing a woman's choice and the value we put on actual living, breathing life, including even like the environment, how we treat the environment and animals and all of that, because that comes back to us humans too. The sanctity of life is in allowing free will choice, allowing that woman to make the choice. That it's like we're saying, oh, you don't know what you're doing. You're not good enough to choose. I'll choose for you. You know, the whole thing of like calling her a murderer. Or how dare you, you don't want to carry that child, you don't want the burden. How many men out there, I'm sorry, because I know there's a lot of good men out there, but how many men out there got women pregnant? And let's talk about like teenage boys, right? Like high schoolers, got their girlfriend pregnant, and the mom and dad said, oh God, we don't want you to ruin your college or your football career. So here's money for an abortion, or just don't talk to her, don't answer her phone calls anymore. And the boy walks away and he lives his life. He chose himself, right? That's happened a lot throughout time. The woman, the girl, has to raise the child alone. Giving a woman, a girl, a female, the right to choose is actually the sanctity of life. That's all I have to say about that. So I'll end it here. It's long. And thanks for watching as always. You guys have a great day. Bye.